YouTube up and running. Poor guys. I think that's YouTube up and running. Just give it a minute. Sure, that'll do with the screen. That'll do. How are we all doing today? I have no idea what I've set up here. We'll leave it like that. Hello, an OD here. How you doing? Just give it a minute. Right. I think my sound's good. Should really do all these checks beforehand, but I do not. Bad me. Right. I don't know if any of you are going to recognize the Murphy coat of arms just up there. I thought we'd do a quick introduction into the Murphys, and then we can go into all the other surnames that are already starting to pile in on YouTube and TikTok. And then we can sort of try and get some of these answered as well tonight. So I don't know if there's anyone here today who... Hi, I'm from Donegal. Oh, my wee boy is having a sleep and he's just coughed there. Yeah, so I don't know if any of you are related to Murphys. There's Morgan Ferreters from Donegal. How you doing? There's a Murphy branch from Donegal. But I thought we'd just go through some of my notes on the Murphys that I'm planning for the video, and just to give you a bit of an insight, and then we can go into, yes, we can get the McGaffigans and all these sort of ones are named in as well. So yeah, so I think there's quite a few of you piled in already, and YouTube's not here, so that's my own fault for not having a regular timing that I come on. I say 10 o'clock, but I forget that like TikTok Live needs to update every time I turn it on. So let's just go for it. Yes, Ferreter has a dormant connection, that is correct. How would one go back to tracing heritage from the 1600s? Very badly. Unless they were landowning, it would be very hard for you to trace, and even then you're looking at a very minimal amount of information. So you will find oh, thank you, Molly, Carmen, Ginger Mom, for the gifts. It's good to see you in again. Thanks very much for the Easter potato. I love that Easter potato. And the confetti, thank you very much. So yeah, tracing your family to the 1600s. If you're a landowning family, say you've got family in and around Limerick, for argument's sake, you would then have you would pretty much have to have owned the same piece of land. I mean, so we find sources of individuals living in and around Limerick, for instance, and then there's almost like, well, that surname still exists in the area, but how do you prove that you are descended from that individual, because there's no direct line? Like Ireland's genealogical sources are probably some of the best in Europe, probably the best in Europe in our medieval literature. And then obviously we have the Tudor conquest of Ireland. We have the Reformations, religious Reformations that caused untold damage to a lot of things, record keeping in Ireland. And then we obviously have a couple of years of suppression, and then we have the likes of the War of Independence. Obviously the post office was burnt, so a lot of stuff got destroyed. We also have, like, obviously some of our medieval literature. I believe the Annals of Brian, or the literature attributed to Brian Boru's sort of reign, I believe lost. There's other ones that are sort of earlier Viking raids. So as was always the way with a lot of countries in Europe, just general warfare and destruction has kind of eradicated a lot of information. We're quite blessed that some of it has made its way in copies into other forms, like the Annals of the Four Masters is a great example of a collection of multiple sources into one. So yeah, so to answer your question, how would someone link themselves to 1600? Very poorly, but I mean, you can sort of get a rough estimate if you're, especially if you're landowning. Oh, thank you very much, Jeremy, for the firelight. I've not seen that one before, and Shane Corey for the rose. Thank you very much. So let's just fire in first. Let's get the Murphys out of the way, and then we can get all these fine surnames that are making their way. Sarah, thank you very much. Kerry, thank you very much for those heart me's. You don't have to give people. Honestly, this stuff's free. I give you it all for free. Lydia, thanks for the 8 roses. It's Tiff, thanks for those. You don't have to. You don't have to gift. I always say, if you really want to support the channel, get a wee subscription. That'd be great. I do membership, members only lives once a month, where you can get your full history of your surname. You can put requests in, questions, yada yada yada, all good stuff, all good stuff. But even then, I do appreciate the gifts. Thank you very much, Megan. You know, I do. But you don't have to. It's none of this is behind a paywall. I pay the subscriptions to academic sources, so you just get it for free. Shremshock. I've not heard of Shremshock. I'm sorry. I'll have a look into that for you though. Does Wilson actually come from Scotland? It comes from Ireland and Scotland, but primarily it's found in its majority in Scotland, and then the Ulster lines tend to come from Scotland as well. But it's because of it meaning like William's son. You know, it comes in many variations. So, Common Sense, great to have you here again. Centre Breakthrough, I swear you find a new one every day. Ali, yay, one of the subs is in. How you doing? And Everlasting as well. Thank you again for you're in here quite regular. I'm really enjoying the fact that I'm starting to recognise people and like Ginger Mom, like Common Sense, and you know, there's just so many regular faces, and it's great to see. Sarah E. Warren, thank you very much for the subscription to Durfina. Just a quick, if you didn't hear the initial clickbait, what is it called? Clickbait plugin, I think that's what they call it. You get a 1 month, once a month we do a membership only live. So I hope to see you on the next one. I will be releasing the date in a couple of days for the next membership only live. Feel free to drop in. It's about the McDonoughs and the Breslins this month, but feel free to ask questions on that live, and I will also, if you have any specific topics you want covered, we'll put it to the list for the membership only. So I look forward to seeing you. And it's Tiff, thank you very much. Right, can you stop throwing stuff at me so I can start this? Right, I'm just going to crack in here, Murphys, okay? Let me just get the notes I'm up to on the Murphys. All right, so Murphy. You know, it comes, apparently, the loose translation is sea battler or sea battle or sea warrior. And it was a very common surname in the Madden family. Okay, so well, we'll definitely put that to the list. So yeah, it was a very common surname, Murphy, but not all Murphys share the same ancestor, as there are several distinct Murphy sets on the island of Ireland and Britain. The surname is a variant of 2 Irish surnames. So you had Muircada, and which again, it's just the same variation of Sea Battler and Meerkat. So it's often written on Irish name sites that the surname, all the people who descend from the surname are linked to the Murrs. There's actually a famous sentence here that I took from one of the sites, and I just thought I'd that the Meerkat. Here's the quote, as he entered the thick of the fight and prepared to assail the foreign invaders, the Danes, when they had repulsed the Dalcash, that he was seized from the boiling terrible anger and excessive elevation and greatness of spirit and mind. A bird of valour and championship rose in him and fluttered over his head and on his breath. End quote. This statement is actually a reference from the War of the Gael and the Foreigners, and this Meerkat is the son of Brian Boru, who was killed along with his father and son at the Battle of Clontarf in 1014. So use any Murphys claiming descent from that specific line and quoting that specific sentence may have a hard time with that, considering obviously he died and his son died. And his son was only young. His son was only, I think, 14, and he died in the tides of the on the beach. So there are some of the, fear not any Murphys. There are some of the, here we can give you some of the answers. So I think obviously the most famous line are the Leinster line, but again these are all unrelated, or many of them are unrelated. But one branch of the Murphys derived their name and descent from Murchad, the grandfather of Dermot MacMurrough, probably most famous for soliciting the help of Henry II of England to regain the kingdom, with the military support of Richard de Clare, the second Earl of Pembroke, also known as Strongbow. He inadvertently initiated the Cambro-Norman invasion of Ireland, but they descend from the Kinsiller. Here you go. A dynasty which obviously branched out into several powerful steps, including the Failchan, who are the MacMurroghs, as well as sort of the Ferguson and the Felmeda. Can't get my Irish out. So you have like the Murphys of the Felmeda. You have the O'Garveys, you have the O'Donnells. So there are quite the Hartleys as well, I think. So you've got quite a few that sort of descend from that wee group there, and your king groups. And then you obviously have the next up are the Ulster branch. Oh, I'm trying to zoom in, but that doesn't work. Okay, yeah, I can't zoom in and roll up, but there you go. Well, they're from Donegal anyway. And they were named chiefs of the Silly Ina, from Flaherty O'Murray, and they were chiefs of the Kenalbreen, and they're recorded in the annals in 1031 until they were displaced by the O'Donnells, and it's claimed then the branches of the family moved from there to Tyrone, becoming the MacMurroghs of Monteburn, before moving on to Armagh and becoming the Murphys. So, and some of them translated their name to McMurray as well. So if you've got this sort of trajectory of migration, but whenever you see that a family is attributed with migrating out of an area into another area, so another famous one is such as like the O'Byrnes, who are said, there's a Longford branch up here, and they claim descent from troops that went across up in the 17th century, 16th, 17th century, to fight for O'Neill, and they claim descent from the O'Byrnes of Wicklow based on that. But their genetic studies have proven that they're actually unrelated. So that's the problem when you have multiple surnames with similar phonetics or similar sort of origins and stuff. They try to band together and claim descent from one another, or claim descent from a larger group, but not always. It's not the case. But just for anyone that maybe thinks, well, then I'm definitely not related to a group that are distantly, we do have O'Rourke's down in Munster, down near Cork, and they really are related to the O'Rourke's up here. And O'Rourke was invited down by one of the kings of Desmond to. He was probably most likely a political rival of whichever O'Rourke was ruling at the time. He's ended up down in Cork, and he's been given I think it was the title of the royal beekeeper. Just a hereditary. He's been given a hereditary position as deserving to his status as probably a prince of some kind, or a nimid, or a noble, or nemid. But they are related. So the O'Rourke's of Cork and the O'Rourke's of Breffna are related. So, so don't be thinking, oh, just because my family is separate and my surname is separated by the entire breadth of the island, and we claim descent from a main group that we're not. After my initial statement, it is also possible. There's a lot of reasons for it. In Connacht, there's actually less of a Murphy presence in Connacht. Even so, there is actually a group associated with Sligo. And they claim descent from Clan Tonta, and who were related to the the McKay of Roscommon. And also there's McMurray's was the surname, or Clan Murchad was a name used by the O'Farrells, sorry. So a branch of them could be descended from them too. So I think the main point that I would like to raise when it comes to the Murphys is, though, that a lot of Murphys like to claim Norse or Viking heritage. It's often ascribed to Norse and Viking heritage due to its common usage in coastal areas and its meaning sea battler. Although I've no doubt there's a few Murphys today with paternal Norse lineages, the name is traditionally an Irish name, a Gaelic Irish, and just the link with a sea battler. It's something I've said before, but the Irish had a long naval tradition long before the Norse ever arrived on our shores, and St. Patrick would definitely attest to that. So that is some of the branches of the Murphys. So without further ado, I will not stick to them any longer. The full video will come out eventually when I stop being busy with work. Right. Let me put another. Do we carry on? No, do you know what? We won't carry on with the O'Driscoll talk from yesterday. I think I scarred you enough. From the Cromwell talk. Yeah, it was a deep topic. I'm just trying to think. I didn't even think what kind of picture to put up. Let's have a look. Let's put up a wee picture of a drawing of an Irish cavalryman. There you go. Note the lack of saddle. The English sure noted it. Right. Zoom that in. Oh, sorry. So while I was talking away there, thank you, Kevin Colley, Olive Gilshanan, John Gatt. Thank you very much for those roses. I really do appreciate it. Lauren, I don't take requests to join. I do appreciate you'd love to come on and talk, but I don't have people on to talk just because unless they've been invited through. So I have had Philip on for live from Irish Medieval History. I'm gonna have Kevin Flanagan from Brehon Academy on soon. Without sort of pre-vetted with your so I do apologize. I do appreciate it, but it's just I've seen when people get other people on lives, it can turn the conversation in a certain way, and so again, I do appreciate it, but it's not what I do. So I think maybe I get this. Hang on, let me type into YouTube and see what they're saying. I keep forgetting about them. I don't even know who's in there today. Where are you? YouTube chat. Let me go here. I don't know how to. I always forget. Okay, who have I got? I've got Sean. How you doing, Sean? I got Eric. How you doing? From Oklahoma. We've got Crystal Charm. We got Fryan. I can't. Finance. And Kate, so welcome. A bit late, but what's the subject? It was Murphy's. I don't know if you missed it. It was just a brief one today. It was I didn't want to. I didn't come on yesterday, and I wasn't feeling too great. And then I didn't have anything. Well, I did have something planned. I had the Oenocta of Cork with the original plan, the Rise of the Oenocta, but I hadn't finished researching it, and I didn't want to come up to you with half information of them, so I decided to come up with you with half information of the Murphys instead, because that's the way I liked it. Sorry. TikTok. I know you were McAfrican. You were looking for some sort of information on the McAfrican or the Gavigans. Uh, yeah. So I'm not sure if they're related, but there's two branches, one from Donegal and one from Connacht. So they're I'm unsure if the relation, bit like what I was saying earlier, there could be a migration. So we do have like the Gallagher's or Gallagher's even are, quite spread across this bay. So it's quite possible the McGaffigans or O'Gaffigans are from there. But this would be your sphere of influence, or the history that would sort of be actually, so like anything to do with like the Battle of Ballyshannon. There's a video. I've got a video on that. I probably took part in that in some form or another. Excuse me. But yeah, so sort of this sort of sphere here. Yeah. Donegal, Roscommon, Connacht, that sort of area of the world. Hang on, let me see. So, Cork, you say yes. So the next on Tuesday's next live. I will be doing the Oanocta. So here we go. See this group here. Well, the actual main group was the Oanocta Cashel, who are actually from Tipperary. But obviously we branch out into these areas here. So and you're from Cork. Well, it'll be their eponymous ancestor was Conall Cork. So yeah, probably next Tuesday we'll do the Oanocta. So all the families, like any O'Donohues, O'Sullivans, McCarthy's, all these and more will have some sort of mention, because we'll branch into the Oanocta Rathlin, the Lochleen, the Glendamna. So yeah, and there's a couple others. So maybe we'll talk into how they pushed out the Corker League, who were the O'Driscolls, the O'Coffeys. So we'll do that. I think next week we'll do that, and then I can make sure that I get as many names down as possible for. I like to try and encompass as many as I can, because there are so many of yous. Yeah, thanks for the 5 roses. I'm seeing a lot of like the same. So if you're asking for, I will just say, if you're asking for O'Doherty, Sullivan, Sweeney, Butler, have I done any other videos? Those ones I've got full videos on YouTube. They're full, like 30-minute videos. O'Doherty's is a little bit shorter because I was doing short form then, but it still give you great information. Oh, and O'Brien's, right? Those are like the 5 surnames I've got full videos on my YouTube. So if you're asking for that information, and I've already covered it quite a lot over the last lives, so I don't want to like just keep reiterating. I will come back to it every now and again, but just for tonight, I do have full videos on YouTube. I don't have a full video of McIntyre yet. The plan, the aspirations of this. Dan, thanks very much for the flaming heart. I appreciate that. The aspirations for this channel is to literally do every family surname in Ireland and Scotland that I can. Obviously, there are like surnames that don't have really records, are going to be very hard to do. Let's just say the Smiths. It's going to be quite. Have I released O'Shea? I have an O'Shea in short form on TikTok and YouTube. They are 3 minutes long, so they're not that short. And they are on the channel. You'll see the famous blue and yellow coat of arms that's associated with them. So and I have various short form ones too. You saw the O'Sullivans. Wow, that's great. I hope you enjoyed it. I try and get better with each video, so some of them are a bit rough around the edges. I do apologise for that. funny enough, it's my cousin Murphy that is searching for our O'Loughlin side. Is that because he thinks Murphy's Dear Ditch? How you doing? Sparts. Yeah, is that because he thinks the Murphy one's a dead end, or he's just more interested in the O'Loughlins? So yeah, it's I do have. I would say check out the channel, and please like, comment. The more I see a surname, the more it sort of pushes me to release something for it, because it's in my brain, my ADHD brain. So feel free to just comment your surname. But I'll come to the lives and I'll try and point it out. But my intent is to make sure that you have more information than, and also it's all comes from. So all my YouTube videos have the sources, academic sources from which my information comes from. So it's to make sure that you're not getting the garbage that can be found online on generic websites. Unfortunately, there's quite a lot of them, and I find them very frustrating. And in my early research, and yeah, so. Kemet. I'm not sure of any Kemet's variation of an Irish surname. I think I have to start this conversation with the old sort of my general source for Irish surnames that have been anglicised comes from the Scoil na Gaeilge and DCU and National Folklore Collection and UCD, which they state they've got 3,000 surnames, but I know other websites claim to have 6,000 Irish surnames. But I haven't verified those yet, so I can't actually say for 100% certainty. But Kemet, I can't actually say for certain, but it's a bit hard to remember all of the surnames, but I think 3,000 it has been enough. I wouldn't say I know all of them, obviously, but you're not sure if my messages are sending. Is Coyle an Irish surname? Yeah, yeah. Sorry, they are sending. I can only do sort of comment a couple of comments at a time. As far as I'm aware, I only know the Coils of Donegal, which they McGillicungal or Columkill. So they descend from a devotee of Comgill. So I'm pretty sure there's another variation. There's another Irish surname. Actually, I might have it in my library here. Let me see. Yeah, so that's right. Coyle can also be a variation of McCool and Doyle's. So your Doyle variations would be like your O'Dovgall, McDowell, McDougall. So you've got quite a few variations of the name that are totally unrelated. So Coyle, it's a long stretch, I know. Wow, Crystal Charm. I'll give you 2. So Hines, we've got the Hines, the famous family. Actually, they're from Clare, and they've got probably, I'd say, one of the most photogenic castles in Ireland. Often pictures are taken of them, and then you've got the most, I'm going to say the most famous branch of Duffy's, but Duffy can be found again in a lot of places. But one of the main groups is, and I say the main group because I'm related to them, is around Armagh and Monaghan. Excuse me, I didn't make myself a coffee tonight before I came on, and I'm feeling the pain. I should maybe is that Timmerlane? Is that like after the General Timmerlane? Thanks very much for the rose. Ken O'Shea, thank you very much for the rose. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. Butlers, I have a full video of the butlers on my YouTube channel. We're gonna skip over them. Butler, like I say, Butlers, Dohertys, Sullivans. we're just going to skip right past them. I do have full videos though. I do that you can check out, and they will answer. I would like to feel like 90% of your questions. If not, feel free to add more on, and I will try my best to make sure we get them. But at the end of the day, I can only use the information that I have, and I try to encompass as much of it as possible. Leahy, yeah. So Leahy's it's mostly attributed with Munster, but there are multiple variations. It can be found literally everywhere in Munster, Cork, Kerry, Limerick. So yeah, it's everywhere. um, all I don't know if the again, it's another name that has multiple variations. It's just what's YouTube saying. Okay, thank you. Castles seem to be a common theme in families. I missed out. No, well, no, not if you've got a Hines in your family. You'll probably have some link to that castle, but but I don't think you'll have any claim to it. Like you could be a Doyle like me and literally not have anything attributed to it. We were obviously the peasants of history. I like to say that we were busy off adventuring or doing something else wild and crazy. So, but probably not. Probably not. So, Lena Lake, thank you very much for the gift. I really appreciate that. I'm not doing Sweeney's or Driscoll's. I've got the videos on the website. I might just put a wee note here. Should we put like a list of names that we're not doing today, just so people can? I feel bad. Like excluding them, but they do get the most mentioned. They come in droves, and rightly so. I appreciate it, but I end up covering them most nights, and then we miss out on the Dyers. Yeah, they're County Tipperary family around here. Yeah, quite a famous family from Tipperary. I think they were quite a mountainous region in Tipperary too, which is quite weird because a lot of Tipperary that I've been to has been quite flat. Jermaine? Cat, is that a request for the surname, Jermaine? Because I don't know of a Jermaine variation. I wouldn't know what it's a variation of. Do you have maybe the Irish translation of it? If there is one, maybe it's so sometimes people do put in requests for and they know the anglicized variation of it, but obviously there are multiple variations and sometimes multiple spellings of the same name. But I don't know of a German name or a close. No, it's a head scratcher. Yeah, I would agree with you there. Like I say, there's nothing. I'm 90% sure there's nothing in the source I use for Germain being an Irish variation. So it could be a name that's come across later. Or like I said, it could be a variation of the name that's it's been anglicized, but I just don't know how it's been anglicized. So, Gallagher's, yeah, Gallagher's you find them down here and along this coast here, and they're related to the Kin'Connells. Again, another name attributed to, but I think Vikings people, but they're not. They're related to the Kin'Connell. O'Rourke's, yeah, they're another name that I've covered quite a few times from Breffna. And they're, I think I always get it mixed up, but they're West Breffner. We talked about a little bit about them earlier actually. Branch down in Cork related to them. They were related to the O'Reillys, and yeah. So sometimes overlords of full Breffner, sometimes being overruled by the O'Reillys. Kavner's here you go from the Kinsella. There's a main is the main branch, but there's another branch related to a church. Can't remember where. Spelled with a C. I think it's up in Ulster. And they will appear on a video soon. So, yeah. So a couple of branches of anything on the Michael clan. I honestly have never heard of the Michael clan. Again, it could be a variation of another Irish name, but none that I'm aware of. MacNeil, yeah. So MacNeil, there's so O'Neills in Ulster also have taken the Mac variation in times. So there are some who are related to the O'Neills, and I wouldn't say it's beyond the realms of them being related to the Clare O'Neills too. But by and large, most MacNeil seem to come from the Isles of the coast of Scotland. MacNeil's of Barra is one of them, who actually in their oral traditions do claim descent from the O'Neills, but I believe DNA evidence has proven that was a fabrication. So yeah, Jameson, son of James, is a name that's found all over Ireland and Scotland, primarily Scotland, and which is funny because one of our most famous whiskies, Jameson's, came from a Scottish family, planter family who came across, and I believe one of their sons is famously known for going around to Africa and watching a young woman be eaten by cannibals. I believe he was the grandson of the first Scotsman that came across to Ireland. His father was born in Ireland, but he was actually born in Scotland. So the family still kept their close ties to Scotland, and meant some of the generations been born in Scotland. So, yeah, it's but that's more modern history. That's 19th century history, and that's not really my area of expertise. Minus a few tidbits about surnames and their variations making it to that time period. Oh, I actually got to say, it's French, I think. I will look into it, Cal. I will look into it. Actually, I need to get my phone out and write some of these down because I keep writing them on pieces of paper and then I lose that piece of paper. German, or I end up using it to write a shopping list on. Requests. German. There you go. It is on my phone. I will not lose my phone. I love my phone. Can you hear me alright, by the way, YouTube? Because I know we've had problems with that in the past. I'm actually holding a microphone now, like really close. Boyles. Yeah, Boyles. There's actually, it's really funny because Boyles, there's an Irish branch in Donegal and then an English branch of the surname actually became, were they Earls of Donegal? Dukes? Anyway. They were, or Marquis of Donegal. Anyway, they had an English noble title, and they were called Boyles too, which is I must have been, quite hard to distinguish which line you come from. But yeah, famously fought in some famous battles, including I believe it may have been the Battle of Boyne or the Battle of Kinsale, which are only a couple hundred years apart. So. Yes, I can hear you fine. Yay! We've had a McKay. Oh my God, McKay. Anyone who's been on the channel long enough knows that McKay, McKay, McHugh, McGee, all those variations, the end of my life. Unfortunately, that name is probably the worst name for researching anyway, for your distinctive link, purely because of the variations that stem from it. It literally descends from the surname A or E, depending on the variation, like A, E, D, H. And you've obviously got the famous McKays up in the very north of Scotland, um, but you've got the famous McGees from Antrim. You've got Mahis down in East Down, um, and all of these have that variation. Some of them have been translated to McKay. So yeah, and then you've obviously got Keys, the surname Keys, and it's just it's a it's a name that literally can be found anywhere. I mean, if you pick a town, I'm sure there is their own variation of McKay that has been translated to McKay, and they are all unrelated, just because of how common that name was. So, uh, it's one that I'm not looking forward to from Antrim County, Antrim. Yeah, yeah, the Maggies. But Quigley sent a galaxy. Jesus, what are you doing? You don't have to do that. Thank you very much, Quigley. I really do appreciate that. Thank you very much. Trizzy, thank you for the sleigh, the roses. Zoe giggles, thanks for the rose. Laureen Stripe, thanks very much for the rose. Robo 13, I really do appreciate it. Clay, thank you very much. Amanda, you don't have to gift roses. You don't have to gift anything. It's free. It's all free. Or if you really want to support channel, memberships. But then you don't have to. Oh, you donated a galaxy, so I feel it's only fair. But what did the name say? Hang on, I'm scrolling up. I don't want to miss your name. Oh, my screen's go back. So my screen goes black from time to time. So you're just gonna have to give me a second. I think the wire I bought is a cheap £4 one from Amazon, and unfortunately, I don't know if it has a loose connection. I do not know enough about computers. I sit here at night and read surnames all night. I don't know, and I don't have time for. Oh, Quigley's. Okay, yeah. Actually, I suppose there's a couple of there's like a couple of variations. They're mostly found around Derry, and Derry Ulster, including Derry, and Donegal. So there's a group here. Oh, where's my mouse? Here you go. So Derry and Donegal is where the one of the branches are from, and then so they're primarily around Inishowen. And then you have the branch in Mayo as well, and then in Connacht, and then I think there was another branch in Armagh and Monaghan, but you're sort of looking at this neck of the woods here anyway. So yeah, it's they're the three branches I know of, but yeah, Quigley's, and it can be it's got multiple anglicizations like Kegley and stuff. So yeah, but I think none of them are related. I think there's different variations from like how they came about from the. So that's another problem, is that many people will have. Oh, oh, it's got text. Someone says family members just said they're watching my live, and I just want to say, Connor, put yourself out of your misery. Yeah. So poor kid. Yeah. So there you go. So the Quigleys are from there. Thanks, mate. Yeah. No, I will try and break up the branches as best I can for the McKeys. Wow, I never heard the English title part before. Is there a way to distinguish between the two? Of the Boyles, to distinguish between the two, I'm going to say more than likely is that the fact that the English Boyles came across in the 17th century, I don't think they're going to have a large impact genetically. So by and large, most Boyles within Donegal are going to be of the native line. But I would say land ownership as well would probably be a good way to distinguish as well. So you'd want to see who. You kind of want to see if there's any families holding land in the area, and then if they're still holding the same land after these new boils arrive, more likely they're the original. I hate saying native, but native. Oh, you're in the States. Oh, so it'd be a bit hard for you to get the old land records out. I'm sure there are ways to do it from the States. I do intend. So, just so you know, just while I've got you all here, surprisingly. Sorry, Giggle TikToker, thank you for the gifts. Is that I tend to get more people on who specialize in areas of study that I don't specialize in. So genetics, Brehon law, how to find sources for those of you looking for links to, family trees. So these are the sort of things that I'm going to have people on, in the future. I have started it, and just basically kind of open doors for people that that don't have maybe that access to that information. So I always tell people about Celt.uc, which is a website that has the annals and a lot of medieval literature in Ireland translated to English. So that's a good way to start if you've got an interest in things. Yes, Hennessy is from Oangussa. It's from Cork, and I believe made very famous in America purely because of the Hennessy's alcohol, which is from a Hennessy who fled Ireland during I think it was the Cromwellian, during one of the many fleeings of Ireland, from the Tudor conquest to the Cromwellian campaigns. He fled Ireland. I believe he was a Jacobite, so actually it may have been after, actually. But anyway, he fled and set up his descendants set up that. I've never had Hennessy, so I don't know what is it. Is it a whiskey? Is it a bourbon? I don't actually know. I've never actually had it before. Even though I've been to America, I loved it. I did Route 66. It's a really good experience, but I didn't drink Hennessy. Also, we think you're saying Leahy wrong. We think we've been saying Leahy wrong or Lee wrong. I mean, to be fair, you've been saying it as right as. I mean, if that's how family pronounce it, that's how they pronounce it. A lot of families changed it, but that's your family name. And even then, like, there'll be many variations of that in Ireland. Paul Mann, thank you very much for the rose. Fly like A. I can see that. First gift, thank you very much. Golden Silly Goose, thank you very much. Driscolls, I have a video of the Driscolls and the Sweeneys on my TikTok and on my YouTube. Well, not the full video on my YouTube for Driscoll, but it's coming. So check it out, and then watch the videos, and then come back if you have any more questions. Okay, and I will do my best to answer that. Decided not to go. It's not Ireland anymore. It's still Ireland. Hasn't changed, despite what you're hearing on the old TikTok and whatever else, Facebook, Twitter. Still Ireland. And I know because I live here. Right. Let's see here. Hang on. Do you know anything about O'Kennedy's? Originates in both Ireland and Scotland. I was looking into it and it's confusing. There seems to be an Irish clan and a Scottish clan. Are they connected? There is an Irish clan and a Scottish clan. They are not connected. They obviously descend from Kennetig. And I found that Kennedy means large head or helmet headed, but it's hard to figure out if that was a Scottish clan's name or an Irish one. So I'm confused. Did Kennedy come over with the English there? No, so well, I mean, any Irish person will tell you most Irishmen have a big old head on them. It's very I think someone did some research into that and said that actually the Irish have per per 100 people or whatever, we have the slightly biggest heads in Europe. But I'm not sure A, how true that is, and B, if it is true, it's because we have massive brains. That's what I'm claiming. So yeah, yes. So the Kennetigs of Ireland. So right. So you have the branch around here down Clare who are related to the Dalcash, and they take their name from Kennetig, who was the father of Brian Boru. But multiple not unrelated lines, multiple lines of the family would take it. So from cousins and nephews of Kennetig, Kennetig. So, and then you have the Kennedys, who would be associated with Ulster, who would primarily be Kennedys that have come across from Scotland. So if you're from the diaspora and you're living in another country and you're like, oh, I'm Kennedy from Ulster, more than likely you're descended from the from the Kennedys of Scotland. So I believe the Kennedys of Scotland still claim an Irish descent, although much earlier, from like the Dalriada and stuff. But they're not related to the Kennedys of Munster. So yes. I hope that answers your question. Hang on, let's go. Move your phone away from TV radio. Phone's making a noise. Thank you, Claire. It's because I was reading a text from a family member. I appreciate when people, dear God, the noise. Sorry, Claire. I'm sorry. Do you know what? Claire was the only one that stood up and talked and said something. He's all sat there and listened to that. That's on you guys. Claire is the only one that gets an apology. She said something. She spoke out. Let's have a look here. Oh jeez. O'Connor, I've covered them for 6 O'Connors. Unrelated families. Hang on, Claire, I'll get to you in a second. So you've got 3 from Connacht, you've got 1 from Ulster, you've got 1 from down near Clare. In fact, I think you got 2 from Clare. And then you've got the O'Connor Feelies here. So there's quite a few branches of them. These 3 are related though. O'Reillys tend to come from Breffni, Claire. So they were the East Breffni Kingdom. They're related to the O'Rourkes. They fought over the Kingdom of Breffni, which is modern day, very closely resembles modern day Cavan, the County Cavan, and sometimes they were overlords of the whole of Breffni, and other times they were under kings under the O'Rourkes, and they claim descent from the Ebruin Breffni actually. But who claims descent from a wider king group here. But Dr. Paul MacArthur thinks that may be a fabrication. So I'm waiting to see if he only says that in passing. He hasn't speculated more. So I'm waiting for him to release another paper so I can give you more information. So I'm holding off on the O'Reillys and O'Rourke's video for a little bit longer in the hopes that Dr. Paul MacArthur releases some more information. If not, I'll just have to go on without him. So it's just one of those things, unfortunately. MacLeod's Scottish. There's not really an Irish variation that I'm aware of. I will have to do another Scottish night for you guys because a lot of people enjoyed it. I know there's a lot of people have a connection to both Ireland and Scotland. We have a long shared history, so I will have to do that in the future, and maybe so any like MacLeod's. I mean, McDonald's can be Irish. They can be descended from Donald or Donal, and they've just applied the Mac prefix. A lot of Mac and O prefixes were actually added later again to Irish surnames in the 19th century during what was known as the Gaelic Revival. So, it's one of those things that you may think you're Scottish descent, but actually you're Irish, even though you've got the Mac prefix. Um, so you know, it's just one of those things. That I have a rare surname, O'Murray, sorry. I've never been able to find where it originates. My grandfather says it's from Cork, but it's Spanish. So I believe your variation there is Murray, which is just a variation of Murphy, or is often anglicised to Murphy. It's one of the variations. So if he's saying blending together, what's blending together? Translates to the branch of Murray clan. Yeah, so Murray, it's a Murphy, Murray, those sort of variations. And yeah, so it's just you could be lid if he's saying where did he say it was from Cork? So he's probably claiming one of the Leinster branches, but I'm not sure of a Leinster branch. I know Wexford. Could be. I suppose your closest line could be Wexford. Sorry, I'm late. Could you provide me with information about clans in the Desmumu or West Munster or the Owenok branches? I'm actually doing that next week, so I'm not going to give any spoilers. Next Tuesday, we're going to go through the Owenok. 10 till 12 p.m. Dublin time, and we will. But if you miss it, it will be on my YouTube. Blended together Irish Scot names. Oh, I get you now. I thought you're normally my person who tells me about my like poor sound or something. So you've got the popcorn for that, have you? I'll see you next week. So I hope so. I hope to see you next week. If not, I'll hopefully see you in the comment section when you get a chance to watch it. Yeah. So I've missed quite a lot of Kelly's. Kelly's another surname that's got multiple variations. So many coming through. Can you slow down? Oh, hang on, James, Mark. How do you pronounce that? Is it Jimenez? Jimenez, I think it is. Jane Gowan, thank you very much for the first gifts, the roses. Really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Hang on, I was talking about Kelly's. So yeah, there's a famous branch here, and it's been racking my brain. So this name here, right? You see it all over the places. Emeni, which is wrong. It's Ivina. That's so, and it was racking my brain for every life. I was like, I can't remember what it is. It's Ivina, right? So yeah, that ruled Ivina. Very famous line. Believes that one of their kings was killed at the Battle of Clontarf, fighting for Brian Boru. But there's also variations of the name in Wexford, unrelated. There's variations up in Ulster. There's also Kellys from Scotland who are unrelated as well, and then we have Kellys from England, so that are unrelated. It's an English surname. So, John Mark Jimenez, thank you very much again. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing Jimenez wrong. I had a friend from Spain whose name was Borja, and it had a J in it, so I presume people from Spain or those areas close to Spain, the J is a H sounding name. But if it's not, please correct me. Sign, thank you very much. What about Sullivan? Sullivan's one of the band names tonight. It's banned. It's actually banned. We're not doing Sullivan because tonight only, because I have a full video on YouTube. Full. Can't get more information about it. Every single thing. Right down to right down to the pimples on O'Sullivan Bear's face. So it's banned. Get out of my life. No, I'm joking. Feel free to stay. Just but yes, I have the full video. Go check it out. Watch it. Any questions, come back. I'll answer it. So Billy, thank you very much for the rose. Chizzy, thanks very much. Yeah, yeah. Young Mark, thank you very much. I really do appreciate that. The roses, thank you very much. Um, let's see. I hate having to have to go. I have to log into YouTube like this. Um, Harrington. Oh, yeah, Harrington actually has a lot of variations because a lot of Irish surnames were anglicised to Harrington, like O'Connors. There's a Hurricane, the O'Harties. Um, uh, oh, there's so many. So Harrington actually has a lot of variations. A lot of them found around Cork, actually. Um, uh, Lol, they're ganging up on you. They are. Everyone gangs up on me. You look after me, cat. Um, Hard to come across. It seems very. How did you get into this? I love history, mainly Latin Roman history, but it seems such a niche topic in comparison. Irish history has lots of holes in it, so knowing this information must be hard to come across. It seems very interesting. Yes, so I've covered why I sort of got into it before, but it actually stems from. So I primarily was interested growing up. I think like most young men and maybe young girls too, but it was definitely a boys thing. So I grew up with an interest in the pharaohs and ancient Egypt was my first interest. And then with that, it kind of bled into Roman history, more primarily the Roman military, and then from there it went into Mesoamerica. So I had a real big interest in the Aztecs and the Mayans and the Incas, and that sort of ignited my childhood interest in history. And then when I started to become a teenager, I was educated over in England. I was living in England at the time as a teenager, and I felt a bit of a disconnect from home. And I wanted to learn a bit more about my family, and found it very hard to do. And that's so when I was like 16, 17, um, I just started digging into our surnames, my family tree, which was very limited, and it just, well, you're looking 20 years later. I'm still here, and it's just a weird obsession of mine that if I meet someone, I, they'll say to me, "Oh, my name's, William O'Connor," and next thing you know, I'm googling where do the O'Connors come from. And I don't take anything I read straight from a Google search verbatim, but it just starts me down that rabbit hole. So I've come across some unique names. I have some great history. I've come across some that have been complete dead ends, unfortunately. But that's it. And I get asked a lot as well. How do I remember so many surnames? And actually, I like to give this example quite recently. Is that it's not that strange when you think you probably know someone who can name every footballer or every basketball player or every ice hockey player in the league for the last 20 years. And they know their individual stats and they know everything about them. And that's probably thousands of bits of information. And all I do is I do the same thing but for surnames. So I hope I hope that answers your question. We all have a passions. We do. Although, when does it stop being a passion and starts becoming an obsession? That's probably the mystery behind it. um, you know, I think as long as I'm still have my wife and children and I don't wake up and there's a suitcase on the on the, the like clothes strewn about and all the suitcases are gone, then I know it's still not quite an obsession. Darrow, as far as I'm aware, Darrow's a Scottish name. It's Darach or McDara. Um, I don't know of any Irish links to it. Um, I think they're found in Stirlingshire, so, but I'm not quite sure of that. Let's go back to TikTok. Oh, TikTok telling me off. I've been too busy. John Jimenez, thank you very much again. Really do appreciate it. Haley Black, thank you very much for the roses. Dodgy Dave, where'd you get the money for the rose, Dodgy Dave? MacArthur, I love MacArthur names. It's a Scottish name, but I feel like I have to go. I'm gonna break Ireland tradition here tonight. I love the MacArthur name because the MacArthurs are, John Mark, thank you very much. You don't have to do that. Like I say to anyone, if you if you've got spare money, go for the subscriptions. You get a membership only live once a month, and it's just you guys, and I do your history, and I do answer your questions. You don't have to fight for, for for Everton. Everton's a place in Liverpool. I will get into MacArthur's. I don't know of it being an Irish surname or links to Ireland, although a lot of people from Ireland obviously moved to Liverpool and settled there, and Scotland. And I heard one of the myths that the Scouse accent actually derives from a mixing of Scottish and Irish families sort of mingling together, and you get the Scouse accent. But I don't believe it, because the same thing happened in Ulster, and we have our accent. So, but yeah, I don't know of Everton being an Irish surname or Scottish surname, but I've never heard it being it mentioned or written anywhere. Actually, I will do one thing. I will just check to make sure on my little folder of surnames. No, definitely not in there. Right, so yeah, MacArthur's. We were doing MacArthur's before it was pleasantly interrupted. Not rudely, pleasantly, by John. Jamie, thank you very much for the heart me. So the MacArthur's are actually the main line of the Campbells. So the Campbells and the MacArthur's descend from the O'Dunya, who were a king group in Argyll. Whether paternally or maternally, there's different variations of the story. They married into the family, or they descend paternally from it, regardless. So they got their lands from the O'Dunya, and the McCarthys were actually the main line, the oldest line, from the oldest son, let's just say. And the Campbells were a junior line. But then the Campbells superseded them, and obviously overtook them, and took their titles from them. And some MacArthur's end up changing their name to Campbell. So they were overshadowed by their younger brother, which I find quite interesting, because you think that a family that married into land and title, or earned it, would be able to retain it, but no, they came along and took it off them. So yeah, MacArthur's, and they're not descended from Arthur, the Brythonic king of early medieval England, or Wales, depending on the stories. King Arthur didn't pull any sword from a stone, not that I'm aware of anyway. Do you know if Brian Boru's clan is still going in any way? We have a descendants living there today. We have been swept up in the post-death case. No, so Brian Boru's direct descendant still owns a landed estate in Clare, and I believe they were officers in the British Army. Bruin, thank you very much for upgrading the membership to the Durfina. I really do appreciate that. I hope to see you on the lives. Thank you very much. You didn't have to do that, but it's always great. You keep all you members and subscribers who pay for the subscription and the membership only lives once a month are what keeps this channel going, because academic books are expensive. So thank you very much. Forgotten Monster. So anyway, I was answering your question. Brian Boru's clan still technically is going, although we'll just not go into the weeds of what is a clan and how it sort of translates to today. But he has a direct descendant who still owns landed estate and title, and like I said, they've been officers in the British Army during like the World Wars, and even up until recently. So they've held quite high titles and status, and managed to retain it. So yeah, the Brian Boru's clan, the O'Briens, still are that. And as for the Kennedys, do you know if the Kennedys ever played a major part in Irish politics? I know the Scottish clan had some decently big history. So the Kennedys of Ireland did too. So they were mostly battling against the Butlers in Upper Ormond, and they were quite a big powerhouse in that area. So normally whenever the Butlers were getting in trouble with the Irish clans, it was normally the Kennedys giving them a bit of hassle. So I wouldn't say they were massive, But they've made the mark, more than some people, but some did. So, um, O'Donoghue's, O'Donohoe's. Again, that's another one that's got variations. But probably the most famous line comes from the O'Noctor, um, in their find down in South Munster. Um, so yeah, the Burkes are a family that came across, and this. So they came across, I believe, with Henry II. So they're a later. Oh, I don't know if they're actually a later edition or early edition. There's two migration groups for Norman families traditionally: 1169 with the Fitzgeralds and Strongbow, and then 1172 with Henry II's campaign in Ireland. I can't remember which one the Burkes came on, but anyway, they came to Connacht. They actually so they held Ulster for a while, and they had land in Connacht, and then they broke into two branches, the McWilliam Burkes and just the Burkes, and yeah, quite immense history, links to Grace O'Malley Grace O'Malley married a Burke, had a son Tibbet. So yeah, they actually have you know quite a big quite a big history in Ireland. So if you can think of any sort of action that's happened in Ireland, the Burkes were probably Burkes, Butlers, and Fitzgeralds, I would say, were the three families that had the biggest impact on Irish history today. I mean, obviously, you're going to have the McCarthys and the O'Neills, who had more to do with the, medieval Ireland, early medieval Ireland, etc. But they definitely, the family would have a Burkes, Fitzgeralds, and Butlers are definitely the family that would have more of a surviving impact, so we can feel more of the repercussions of it. Callahans are from the O'Noctor. They claim descent from Kellichan Cashel. Who was he kidnapped by? He was kidnapped by the O'Neills. He was kidnapped by the O'Neills and taken to the southern O'Neills. So that's a wee tidbit about him. But he was king of Munster for 20 years or something, in the middle of the 10th century. Anyway. So yeah, Callahan. But there are other Callahans. There are Callahans in Ulster as well, who are unrelated. And I believe own church lands as well. So keep an eye out for a future video on them. I.e. Mick, thank you very much for the gift. Appreciate that. For the flaming heart, I really do appreciate. Fitzpatrick, Fitzpatricks are from Usherga. They descend from the Dalburn, relate to the O'Brennans and kings of Usherga. Probably there's not many families with the Fitz prefix that are of Irish descent. They are one of them. There was another one, and I'm yet to find out if it's still extant, because I know a lot of Fitzpatrick sites claim that Fitzpatrick is the only Irish name with a Fitz in front of it. But I know of one other. But I haven't been able to, because all you lot keep asking me questions and don't give me a minute of time. I know, joking. No, because I just haven't had the time actually to look into it. It's I'm trying to see if they still extant or not. But yeah, Fitzpatrick's, Usherga, and they were rulers of there. I believe they were they claim to be one of the first families that took the surrender and regrant with Henry Tudor. So I see that McMichael. It comes from McGill and Michael, which is like servant of Michael. It's really common in Ulster, around Antrim, But I believe it's a Scottish name that came across. I'm pretty sure there's a branch of them who are related to the Stuarts as well. Um, so, uh, yeah. Milligan is the Scottish and Irish lines of Milligan. The only branch I'm pretty sure of is the O'Mailgon, who are from Donegal. But I'm pretty sure it can be found in other areas too. But the only one that I'm aware of at this moment in time is the O'Mailgons of Donegal. Let me go back to. Excuse me. Thank you for the information on the candies. How do I sign up for memberships? I don't actually know how you sign up for Bruin. Are you here? Or Fionn? How do you sign up to memberships? I don't actually know how you do it on YouTube. Says join if I recall. I don't know because I have never signed up to my memberships. But I will just say there's 3 memberships on YouTube. The 99p one only entitles you to the membership only lives that are on special occasions like St. Patrick's Day or other things like that. The next tiers allow you to the one a month. But you will be able to watch the lives again, but not live. Membership only lives as the lowest tier all the time. So you won't be able to join it and ask questions and put your requests in, but you will be able to watch them. So it says next to the emoji button, click one of the 3 memberships by the bell. So I hope that helps Restitutor, and you're very welcome for the information. And if you have any more questions, feel free to ask. Coleman, many branches, loads of branches, primarily from England, and then we have Clan Coleman of the Southern Neil, and that's it. So there's not lots of branches. There's only 2. No, I'm pretty sure there's another branch, but I can't actually remember off the top of my head where it is. I just know right by the emoji button. Thank you, Kat. I just know that you've got the Colemans from Meath, and then the Colemans who came across from England. See what happens when I don't have Callahan. I've done Callahan. Was it not for you that I did Callahan? 2 branches that I can think of off the top of my head: Ulster and the Callahan's a monster from the from the Callahan Castle, King in the 10th century, from the Owen Octor. Coffees. There's a couple of branches of coffee, but probably one of the more famous ones are from just outside Cork. They're related to the O'Driscolls from the Cork League and were heads of a church in Ballycarbery down there. So yeah, McKay. Oh, we don't ask about McKay. I'm sorry. Let's just see here. Hang on. Hang on. I've got. Oh, the E. Failey. Here we go. Boom. O'Connor Failey's great history, linked to the O'Moores as well, I believe. Hang on. We've got O'Sullivan's in here. We've got Sweeney's in here. Yous aren't allowed in here tonight. Go to the YouTube channel, watch the full videos, and then come back and ask your questions. Right. Hang on. O'Malley's, I think obviously everyone pretty much just knows where they're from. Here you go, from the Umal. Obviously made famous, probably most famous for Grace O'Malley. I know modern media will attribute her to being the chief and meeting Queen Elizabeth I and giving her a bit of a cold shoulder. Neither of those two are substantiated in historical accounts or records beyond 19th century and manifestations of romanticisms. But further research is still to be had on that before I do an O'Malley video and can say for definite. But she was held in high regard in her family clan, and she definitely did a lot of sealing and piracy. So, but she also married the Burkes and sided with the English. So, um, yeah, there's a lot of going through the weeds when it comes to Grace O'Malley. Um, uh, Thank you, Joanna Farley, for the rose. Brandon Abbey Moose, thank you for the rose and the heart. Ozzy Milligan, thank you for the fist bump. Brandon Abbey, thank you for the rose. User 624, thank you for the first gift of an Easter. Thank you for the confetti and rose again, Milligan. Can you do O'Connor? I'm Australian, but my dad is from Dublin. So I've done, kind of touched on them. The 6 branches, 3 from Connacht, 1 from Kerry, 1 from the Efeely, 1 from Ulster. And it would depend on which one you're from, which will depend on, these 3 are the only ones that are related. But I will do an O'Connor's probably video soon. Lucille Brawl, thank you. Joanne Farley, thank you very much for those roses. I really do appreciate it. How Jesus Christ, how are you gonna answer all these with the way you ramble? How are you going to? I mean, to be fair, I don't want to sit here and just go bump 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 bump. So I'm not going to answer them all, unfortunately. I will. At the end of the day, no one's going to be interested in just knowing the town their family's from. So I like to give a bit of history to them as well. So if you're not liking the ramblings, sorry, I'm a rambler. And I'm gonna keep rambling. Sorry. It's just in my nature. I wish I could put a poll up. Bro, Dustin McKees. Yes, I did, Dustin McKees. It's too much. I can't see the memberships. Only subscribe. I'll look afterwards. I will research and take notes. I read that Brian Boru was given the title Imperator Scotum, and was it usual to be given such a big title in Latin at the time, or was it a new person for the time? So giving new titles was taking new titles was fairly common, and it seems to be amongst the southern lines that broke tradition between the kingship of Tara, traditionally, which alternated between the northern Aeneal and the southern Aeneal. But every time a southerner from outside those traditional lines took over the kingship of Tara, they seem to have attributed to themselves a new title. And Emperor of the Gaels was the one given to that Brian Boru took or was given. Depends on how you look at it. And I believe my own interpretation is because they knew they didn't have legitimacy to take the title of King of Tara or High King of Ireland, so they took a new title to justify their rule over Ireland. So I saw the Kennedy clan motto, Avis Lafin, consider the end. Do you know if that's a Scottish motto or an Irish one? I love the quote, but I can't figure it out. Much like coat of arms, mottos aren't really like ancient in origin. There are a few coats of arms and there are a few mottos that have sort of late medieval links, but by and large most of them are relatively new in terms of history. Obviously some of them are like 150 years old, and I never shy away from saying that, like, even though they're new, I don't think that they're a bad thing. Clan coats of arms and clan mottos, and they're a great way for families to unify around a single, identity marker. Much like our old clans would have done with symbols, etc. Yeah, but I wouldn't try and attribute them to anything like of a glorious, being shouted into battle in bygone eras. But like I say, we do have mottos being shouted in like the late medieval era. Some of them, Butler or Boo, stuff like that. So some of them are attributed to families, but not all of them. So you've just got to be very careful. I haven't done the cast of these yet, mainly because there's a couple of branches, and I'm undecided. So here's the problem: when I'm doing clan videos, I have to decide if it's going to be one family or two videos, if you know what I mean. And I have to distinguish when they have the same surname, like where one ends and one begins. It's quite hard to do. So, like the O'Sullivans, there's only really one family. O'Doherty's, there's only really one family. Butler, there's only really one family. You see the pattern whenever you see the family videos that I've done. So, because I don't have to like split the families up in history, which can be quite hard to do. So that is just something I'm making my way through. Do you know anything about the McGuigan surname? Yeah, Tyrone. Tyrone's quite common for McGuigans. Jilly Bean, thank you for the flaming heart. Mads for the rose. Brian Finn, thank you for the rose. Mads for the roses. Moose for the heart. I can't read that really lovely writing. Shawnee Delaney? Is that Delaney? I can't read it. It's very nice though. One rose, thank you very much. I appreciate that a lot. Lucille Brawl, 3 roses. I don't know if I'm going into old names. Joanne Farley, Brandon. If I've already said these ones, haven't I? But thank you again. I want to see that the man who was really annoyed by my Duraditch. Can you tell me about the Quinn surname? A bunch of them are descended from the Evina, the link to the Kellys, but Quinn can be found in a lot of places. BLEK, thank you. Mage, Merig, I can only see half your name, I'm sorry. O'Dowds, I've done Hennessy's earlier. O'Dowds, Ifik Ramui. The castle still. I went to the castle. Lovely. It's obviously just a shell of itself. But multi-gen, thank you very much for the first gift. I'm deciding whether I should start taking you around clan castles. So it's one of my things that I want to do is to take you all around to see where your families came from. So I would do like not lives there per se, because I suppose it'd be a bit like, but do a video in the area where your family's from. So it's probably one of the next things that I might do. I'm going to set up a goal eventually, because to do it I'll need to travel and maybe cut down my working hours. So I will set a goal for the memberships, and if we reach that, then I'm going to start doing videos in Ireland, all around Ireland, at clan castles, at clan lands, just to give you an idea. You can see what your ancestors saw. This is my pitch, guys. This is my pitch, right? You ready for it? So you get to see a variation of what your family saw, or a bit, the landscape that your family were seeing as I tell you about your family. That is the goal. If it sounds cool, subscribe. Join the memberships. If it doesn't sound cool, then fine. I tried. But it is that's the aim. That's the aim. That's what I'm gonna gun for. It does sound cool. I thought so, Kat. I thought it sounded. How cool would it be to be a stand in a field that was owned by the O'Sullivans? And I'm just telling you about the O'Sullivans, and you get to just for a moment just get to see what O'Sullivan Bearer saw while you're hearing about his history. So it's like living through his eyes just for a moment. I thought it sounds cool. These are our ancestors, and I think especially for people who can't see it all the time, it's just so that is the aim of the channel, guys. It's what we're going to push for the memberships for, because unfortunately I work in banking at the minute, in investment banking, and it doesn't leave me a lot of time off. So, but we need to act quick before someone else steals it from this amazing idea. Multigen, thank you very much for the love you. Lucy Brawl, thank you very much for the rose. Do you know what? I feel like anyone on YouTube, you just hear me say Multigen, thank you and love you. Like what are they doing to get a love you? Rose, thank you, Melissa Mack, for the roses. Wow, 10 of them. You don't have to. Spoonless for the heart me. Finger hearts, quite lovely. Thank you very much, Melissa. I think I already thanked you, have I? But if not, thank you, Bailey. Thank you. Lend us a few quid. No, I make money for other companies. I don't make money for me. Yeah, they wouldn't hire me if I was going to charge them a lot. Hey, O'Driscoll. Hey, you're banned from here, Christine. not literally, please. What I mean is tonight O'Driscoll's is I've got a video on O'Driscoll's on Facebook, not on Facebook, on TikTok. Have a look at the O'Driscoll video. Christina, you're not banned, I promise. Have a look at the video. It's 3 minutes. Tells you about your family. Any questions, come back and I will answer them. But I've already got your video up there, so you've been blessed with all the information to hand already. But if not, stay for the chat. Stay for the crack. Toaster, thank you very much for the cat. Oh, for the cat and for the cat. And Liam O, thank you for the roast. Am I going to have to start doing these? Like, thank you for the cat, meow. Haha, well, you should have led with that. I was like, why is O'Driscoll bad? Well, you were pirates. I mean, well, yeah, very bad. According to the English, anyway, you were very bad. Right. Can you do, hang on. Cleary. Yeah, Cleary's originally come from sort of like the Roscommon area, I believe. Anyway, but they eventually branched out and became like the Brehons of and historians of the Kilconnell and many other families, often anglicised to Clark now. But Clark is also an English and Scottish surname, so just because you're a Clark might not mean you're a Cleary. Yeah, so that they're Lundy. I don't know of any like specific areas for Lundy. I know that there is Scottish and Irish branches of them. Let me see if I have written anything in my folder. I have notes here that I try and keep. No, I haven't got anything for Lundys. So yeah, I know again that there's quite a few Lundys around. Claims of like, I think there's a claim that it's Scandinavian origin, which probably just, it's more likely the surname isn't Scandinavian, but the word used to give the surname is. And then I'm pretty sure there's an Irish link as well, totally unrelated. So yeah, I don't have anything specifically for Lundy. I do apologise. A lot of names to go through, so I've done Burke's tonight. Fitzgerald's, yeah, I haven't really said anything about them. Fitzgerald's came across in 1169 with Strongbow and the DeBarrys and many others, and they branched out and they took over. They split into two branches. You have the Fitzgeralds up here. What were they called? Let's just call them the northern ones for today. And then you have the Fitzgeralds of Desmond down here, who sort of took over this area, which broke off into multiple branches. These Fitzgeralds here were tended to lean more towards English Parliament and monarchy for direction, and these ones were quite rebellious. In fact, they rebelled famously twice during the Desmond rebellions in the 17th century. Would lose both of them and would suffer for it, because these ones, so that the term becoming, that you may have heard, everyone listening, to become more Irish than the Irish themselves, is often attributed to the Fitzgeralds of Desmond. So that's Toaster, thank you very much. Tanya, thank you for the roses. Toaster again, Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Um, hang on. Give us some tips. Are you on about banking tips? Yeah, don't. Here's a tip. Don't get into it. It's soul destroying. Absolutely soul destroying. Morning, Wayne. How you doing, mate? I'm doing good. My moderator is late for work. He's come in just before just before closing time. Let me have a smell. Yeah, smell of whiskey on him too. Bad moderator. It's alright. It's my fault. I knew what I was getting myself in for when I hired him, and I don't pay him. It's slave labor, really. Anything on Mac? Mac what? uh, when is closing time? It should be around midnight, but I might give you a little bit longer because I didn't come on yesterday. Oh, disgraceful I am. No whiskey today? Oh, you're slacking. You're slacking. Everyone telling me slacking. um, I can't find Discord. You can't find Discord. Right, hang on. You might hear some buzzing people while I... That sounds so wrong online these days. It's my phone. You not thinking properly, people. Let me see. O'Driscoll. Okay. You'll see it's about halfway down my TikTok. And it's a white coat of arms with a black ship on it. It's above a Viking shield wall, a video of a Viking shield wall. It doesn't have a name on it because I thought the name along the top would be enough. But let me know, maids. Let me know if you any problems. Thank you for the crying TikTok crying. I appreciate that. Thank you. Campbell. Yeah, there's two Campbells. I didn't want to go into Scottish names, but I will just for this one. So because there is an Irish branch. So Campbell is obviously Scottish, not obviously to everyone, but is a Brythonic family who had a Gaelic name that became very heavily involved with England and Britain. So they've gone through the motions, but there's also the McCowells here down in Armagh who changed their name to Campbell as well. Yeah. Hang on. I need to go back to my. Hey, just Mac. I'm gonna say that just Mac, like having the surname Mac. That one is impossible. I mean, do you know what? I'm gonna put it in. I'm gonna put it in YouTube. Not YouTube. I'm gonna put it on Google. It's cheating, I know, guys, but I just want to see what it comes up with. Mac. It just tells you it's a prefix. Oh, hang on. No, that's a horrible website. We do not use that website. Okay. The Mac family. All silly stuff, all silly nonsense. Okay, apparently it has links to Mayo and Sligo. Okay. Colour me impressed that there is actually a Mac family. And it's not just an abbreviated Mac. Like the rest of your family got fed up and didn't want to write. Maybe they're like McGagan. If any of you's ever seen Gagan, the name Gagan spelled out, it's whew. So they just gave up and spelled it Mac. There you go. So, I did not know that. But you learn something new every day. See, even you guys can teach me something. We are learning together. This is the way it should be. Oh, I married into them. Well, I'm just still in shock. Still in shock that just a Mac family exists. Just Mac. It's like having the surname O. Anything on Tag or McDowell? McDowell, a variation of McDougall, McDowell, McDougall, O'Dougall, Doyle. Multiple branches. They all sort of translate into each other and all have been variations, primarily found on the east coast and southern coasts of Ireland and the are related. The Scottish line is related to the MacDonalds, and they were famous for in Ireland, especially for being gallows glass, 14th century armored warriors in Ireland, and the Doyles are famously famous for being a lot of us, just breeders. So yeah, they yeah, I think one of our guys wrote the books for Sherlock Holmes. But even then, I'm not even sure if he's an Irish Doyle or an English Doyle, because Doyles also exist in Ireland from the Dooley, D Dooley or something like that. It's the Dooley. It's a place in France anyway. So I'm not even sure if he was one of ours. I don't even know if I get to claim him. I don't know of any other famous Doyles. Although one of my kith and kin, although not closely related, but did go to the Olympics this year. So, and he's from Banbridge, which was actually my neck of the woods originally. Hang on. I just let me. Isn't Doyle a Norman name? So there is a variation, like I said, the Dooleys, but most Doyles will be of Irish descent. I have a Doyle video. It's number 10. Maybe you should be banned as well. I'm banning anyone I've got a video. Just for tonight. Hang on. Right. Let me just see here. Oh, Hallorans. I've covered them before. Darth Vader. Famously, there's two lines, Ulster and Clare, and they got their money from. They lived on the borders of Clare, and they got their money from toll collectors on a pilgrimage route. So yeah, and obviously we're in protecting the borders of the O'Briens. Keen, yes. So McCahan, multiple variations found in Munster. Probably the most famous line I would be more aware of would be the from the Canes, who are found along the Derry coastline. They spent a lot of time fighting the Bissets, and then the Bissets' eventual heirs. I don't used to say heirs because they got their land taken off them, but the MacDonalds, the Antrim branch of the MacDonalds of Scotland. So yeah, very active family along this coastline here. Let's go back to YouTube. It's not even half time yet. When are you in best time? 5 to 12. Not even half time. Yeah, not even half time. You know what? I wake up with a sore throat every morning because of you, Fionn. That sounds so wrong. Because I have to speak a lot. Let's try and not make this a sus conversation. I'm a historian. Don't be lower to your level. Excuse me. So let me see here. And you're asking, what were you asking? Oh, what about the Canavans? I only know of one line of them. Aren't they? They were like hereditary Flahertys, the O'Flahertys. It's hard to sing to the wife after. Exactly, Cat. You remember. I have to sing her lullabies. What hereditary position do the Canavans have of... it's going to rack my brain. Give me a C. Give me an A. It's going to annoy me. They held a hereditary position, but I can't remember what, of the O'Flahertys. So they're from this neck of the woods. So, do with that information what you will. Google it. Don't Google it. I'm going to use it as a soundbite. Hang on. I've been Very interesting. Christina, I'm glad you found it interesting. I hope it answered some of your questions. There will be a full video eventually that'll make it on its way to YouTube, where it'll give you a bit more maps and you can look at it a bit better. I'll try to smile in the next one too. I got told off for not smiling enough in my videos, but I was trying to be serious. I was trying to be like, I am a professional. Listen to what I'm saying. And it came across as like I am a serial killer who knows stuff. So I've been told to smile more, so we'll go with that. We'll try and smile. Higgins, yeah. Higgins is actually it's multiple variations. One of them would be England. Higgins is quite common in England. And then the McEgans, who are primarily found in Connacht. And I believe they like to claim descent from Vikings, because I believe it's a variation of like Norsemen or something. But I'm not convinced, but I will find out more. More to come, but yeah, from Connacht primarily. DeBerry, it sounds like DeBerry is a variation of DeBarry, which would have been the family that came across in 1169. They were handed lands around Cork. Funnily enough, they were handed lands, so they translated their name to DeBerry and primarily Barry. But there was an Irish clan family called the Berga there, and they translated the name to Barry too. So, and I believe there's absolutely no way of knowing which line you're from, because they're all intermingled, intermarried, and they just I'm gonna say that and they were both Catholic, so it's not like they were a later addition, maybe like a plantation family that came across. They were all Catholic, so, and landowning, it's one of those ones that's just you could be one or the other. But I'm guessing if it's DeBerry, it seems very closely linked to DeBarry, and more than likely you probably descend from that sort of line. Can you tell me about McKnight? Yeah, so we had this discussion about McKnight a couple of nights ago. So there's a couple of variations upon researching it. So it's a shortened version of like McNaughton, who were a Scottish family, and then there's also a chance that it could be an anglicization of MacArthur MacArthur, which is like an Irish knight, who's then taken on the anglicized version of McKnight. Although MacArthur tends to have been anglicized to McRuddery. But McNaughton seems to be, if you're from like the Ulster area, it's an anglicization of the McNaughton, who are a Scottish family. So that's the sort of McKnights. Little old ducky, good to see you again. Do you know what, your name just stands out. Fred the Collie, thank you very much for the roses, really do appreciate it. Liam, I think you maybe donated earlier, but if I didn't, I'd thank you again. Fitzpatrick, they've been covered tonight and pretty much every other night. Sugar from the Dalburn, related to the O'Brennans. Ossory today would be the branch of them. So I've kind of covered on their links to being the only Irish surname with a Fitz prefix, but that's yet to be fully broken out, investigated. McKillop's my father passed, and I forgot to ask him. Well, I'm sorry for the passing of your father. The only McKillops I know are related to the MacDonalds of Scotland. So, and they're found primarily in Argyll, one of the islands of Argyll. Um, and they were hereditary. What were they? They had a hereditary title for the Campbells. I'm near sure of it. Were they doctors? Were they doctors? No, they were not. Because there's another family who were the doctors. They were the standard bearers for the Campbells. Ryan. There's 5 branches of Ryans. Famous branches around Tipperary. There's another branch up in Ulster. Yeah, there's quite a few. There's five known branches of Ryans. But probably the most famous line is the Tipperary line. O'Brien. There's a full video of that on my YouTube. Dalcash right here. Sent from Brian Boru. Possibly even a knight called de Brian who came across in 1169. But there's no direct link to him known, but it is possible. Linsky or Lynchy or Lindsay, yeah. So there's 2 that I can think of off the top of my head. Galway, one of the 14 tribes of Galway, descended from an English family, and then the Lynchies of Ulster, who are descended from, I believe, a Dalriada group. But yeah, Lynchies up here are a native Irish family. Tipperary is where my Ryans come from. They all have the same first names. Yeah. I tell you what, Spock Forkirk, what a name. If you really want to know something about the Ryans and they're from Tipperary, if you have Facebook, check out a friend of mine, the Tipperary Antiquarian. He is a Ryan himself. He does a lot of the projects to do with the Ryans, especially on Tipperary. He is the subject matter expert when it comes to Ryans in Tipperary. The Tipperary Antiquarian on Facebook. He will be able to either answer your question or he will point you in the right direction. I am not going to hog all of you wonderful people and try and steal you all. I want to make sure that you get out there and find all the information that you like and need. Like I say, none of my stuff is hidden behind paywalls. You do not have to gift Eleanor. Thank you very much, Pamana. Liam Sheen, Stacey Lee, thank you very much for those roses. You do not have to. And for the Easter potato, create content. You know your stuff very impressive. Thank you, Liam. Like I said, there's I don't know if it's obsessive. I don't know if I have a problem, an addiction. Maybe you guys want to hold an intervention and tell me, it's too much. Yeah. But I'm glad I could share it. What is happening in YouTube? I have no wife to sing to now, thank God. I am adopted. I would love to know Lally. Omwil Lay. Are they the same name? Hang on. Isn't Connacht and Anglicization funny on that map? Yeah, I mean, yeah, they've gone for the money of the Irish, and then they've just gone for Connacht. I think they gave up. I did not make this map. I wouldn't be as lazy. In fact, many of the maps on the. I actually want to do an interactive map, but I don't know. I don't know if the Moya Lally's the same name, or if that's just like, I know the Lallies, like the Mull Lallies and Lallies. I know the anglicized version of it. If it's the same name. Bridget P. That's the original. Yeah. Okay. So I'm better at the anglicizations of them. than the Irish versions of them, purely because I'm not that great at Gaelic Gaeilge. It's I can order. I'm really good at ordering coffee. Like if any of you we ever go to a Gael talk and we need to get a coffee or a tea from like Starbucks or Costa, I'm your man. But if you want me to do your surname in Irish, I'm sorry. um, yeah, the Lallies are from the ones I do know are from the Irvine, this group here. So you're thinking close to like the Kellys, the O'Kellys. I won't say they're related, um, but um, they are linked to the Ivina um, families. So they're found primarily in Galway. Um, but yeah, that's a link. So I hope that helps. Gives you a direction where to start. I don't know though. I don't know a lick of Irish. No, and do you know what? It's something that I actually want to do as well on this channel. Is I have a very good friend who wrote the Irish Gaeilge for what do you call that app that everyone uses, Duolingo. And so I'm thinking maybe of getting him on for a night, and we can do an Irish speaking. Um, but then again, a lot of the Irish surnames, you've got the old Irish and more modern Irish, so it kind of breaks down. So yeah, it's but I don't know if anyone would be interested in learning a bit of Irish from a guy who actually grew up in a Gaeltacht and does a really good job of it. He's a great guy. Beverage is Scottish surname. I do not know where beverage is. Beverage. I don't know where a beverage is. It sounds like I'll have a beer, please. No, I'm sorry. I don't know the link of that name. You say it's a Scottish name. I have so you have to bear with me. I do have to do a quick remind and revise when I'm mostly doing Scottish surnames. So my area of Scottish expertise is the Highlands and the Border Reivers. Anything outside of that is I'm a bit not as clued up on it, purely because the interactions between the Highlands in Ireland and the Reivers, who came across more modern, they came across in the early modern period with the plantations of Ulster. So that's the only reason I have a knowledge, and obviously with Dalriada into Scotland and the kingships of Moray claiming descent from Irish kings. So that's the only reason I have that sort of knowledge. But surnames in Scotland tends to be, especially when you start going out east from the Highlands, it starts to tend to be a weaker area of mine. Something I look to improve on, but this brain has already remembered so many. I'm not sure how many more I'll try to remember before it starts to. I have to delete names from my brain. My husband's last name is Dublin. Well, I'm guessing he's from Dublin. But actually, I wonder if that's. I wonder if Dublin is because when we had the Statutes of Kilkenny introduced in 1360, I'm going to say 1366 off the top of my head. Anyway, the Irish living within the Pale, and within, well, it was just outside, had to take on English surnames or Anglicized surnames. So they had to take on the surname White, Butler, Black, or towns like Chester, stuff like that. So I wonder if his family took the name Dublin because they were living within the Pale of English held territory, and they took the name because Dublin, because it just made sense. It's an interesting one because it's like the surname Irish and Scottish, hang on, the surname Ireland and the surname English and the surname Irish. I won't go into them just now. We'll save it for another night. Because no, we'll go into it. So basically, you'd had like Irish people living in English-held lands, or they lived in England and they were given the surname Irish because they were Irish. And the same for English. Can you do Brannigans? Yeah, Brannigans. The only one I'm fully aware of the Kinlowen family from Derry, but I'm pretty sure there's multiple variations of it around Ireland. But probably the more numerous branches, the Brannigans from up there. Oh, hang on. We're just it's going too fast. Cannon. There's a Donegal name primarily, or an English name. So the Cannons were the rivals of the O'Donnells, and the rivals of the O'Neills actually. They took the kingship of Ulster at one stage. There was talk about it with Philip from Irish Medieval History the other week. So the Canon were an old family, one of the contenders for one of the oldest surnames in Ireland. I know the O'Clearys claim it, but the O'Cannons are very close and could even contest it. So yeah, they took the kingship of Ulster for a brief period. And were primarily based around this area of Donegal, between Donegal and Tyrone. So, yeah. O'Mara from Upper Ormond, variations of that name are well, no, not variations. So Dr. Paul MacArthur believes the family came from Osriga or Osrine. But their own history states that they come from Dalcash. They're a Dalcashian branch. The reason Dr. Paul MacArthur claims that they're a Ossory family is that they claim descent from the Dalcash because they were moving into Kennedy lands, the clans, the O'Kennedys, and so they were using that fake genealogy to like to marry up to them, basically, to make sure that they weren't attacked. So they could be Dalcash, they could be from Ossory, but they were either way. They were one of the Butler's loyal Irish families. Mulrooney, so O'Runa is quite famous in County Down. I'm not sure of anywhere else, but I'm pretty sure Mulrooney would find there'd be multiple sort of branches of that name. I would say that like you'd have Rooney, Mulrooney, and they all kind of descend from. So like I know the O'Runa, you'll have the Muel Runa if it's Mull. So, but anyway, the one branch I'm most certain of is a branch in County Down, but there definitely will be more variations of that that I'm not fully aware of. Hang on. My grandfather says the Bradys were thrown out of Ireland for being drunks and thieves. Is this true? If they were thrown out of Ireland... Right, so the only people going to be calling them drunks and thieves, I imagine, are English. And if that's the case, well, they thought of that for all of us. So, no, that's very generalisation of me. No, I don't... I mean, your specific line, your specific grandfather's grandfather maybe have been a drunk and a thief. But no whole family was exiled from Ireland, and even if you wanted to sort of say that a family had the most likelihood of being that would happen during the Tudor conquest, and it would have more likely been the O'Neills and the O'Sullivans and stuff like that. So, no, Brady's. Although Brady, they are hereditary. There's a couple of branches of them. There's definitely a branch from South Ulster. And let me see. I do actually have a note on them because I can't. They held a hereditary. I think they were hereditary Brehons. Do hereditary jobs in my. This is my notes for Armagh. I know that. I've just told him that. Okay. Yeah. There were Brehons from Armagh. And I'm looking to do a video with Brehon Academy. I don't know if any of you are subscribed. Me and Mr. Flanagan have been in talks about Brehon families, and we'll do the Brehon families and the laws and stuff. So, but we're still working out the how we're gonna do it. So, did you mention the butlers? No, I did not. Oh, I did, because the statues of Kilkenny and links to O'Mara. But I did not mention the butler specifically. Came across in 1172, famously held Tipperary. And if you want to know any more than that, revo that. I have the full video of the butler history on my YouTube, which you're on right now. So it's a click away, your entire history. Our coat of arms is pointing at the sun. I don't know why I find it funny. They were so drunk. They were like, "What day is it? I can only see the sun." No, coat of arms are mostly modern in creation mostly. But again, full video on YouTube if you want to learn a little bit why Irish families should have coat of arms or could have them, why there's an argument to have them. Rough Funzel, thank you for the house Firelli. Oh, that's I've never seen that. Oh, Firelight. Okay, I could only see a little bit of that. Rose, Connor Time, thank you for the rose. Fred Aiken, welcome in. Sent the heart. It's good to see you again. Jay McNeely, sorry, I can only see parts of these names. Thank you very much for the flaming heart. MJ and Pedro, thank you very much for the hearts. Lisa, I'm gonna get out of the way. New message. Lisa, hang on, I'm trying to see what you're. Hang on, it's gone. Lisa Sheehy, thank you very much. Chels98 for the flaming heart. Chels98 for the rose. Eleanor, again, I don't know. I think I already thanked you for that Easter potato, but I do like an Easter potato, so thank you very much. User and baby cakes, thank yous for the roses. 815, thank you for the first gift. Right, let's get back to some of these names. Costello, branch of the Burkes, found in Connacht. So I tell you what, I'm gonna do another plug-in, guys. Another plug-in. This live is sponsored by me for me. Shadow Raids. No. Anyway, no. Dunk Sex of the Rose. Why are you gifting? Have I got a moderator in here? Can we ban him? This is why I've been ignoring your phone calls. I've been busy. Anyway, right. Stop gifting me. Right. See, this is why I needed to stay anonymous. Anyway, plug-in time. Yeah. So if any of you are gifting, but I would say don't need to gift. Get something for your money beyond me waffling for several hours a night, and join the memberships, and the subscriptions on TikTok and the memberships on YouTube. Every month you get a monthly membership / subscription only live where I'll answer your questions. We'll have live specific topics specifically geared towards my members / subscribers. We'll have special guests, and it's just basically a small community area where you can really sort of get to know some of those questions that you've maybe been asking but I have missed on the crazy lives that exist. So Please think about it. Um, it's towards the goal is to eventually get this that I can take yous on tours and through the lands of your ancestors, through the lands of the O'Briens, through the lands of the McCarthys, um, and you know, every subscription or membership brings us that bit closer. So just think about it, and that is enough of me begging. Right. Donks, thank you very much. Stop it. Brandy, thank you very much for the rose. Uh, so I can only do like no. Do you know what, Sparks? Even the hearts and the comments, they all help. Don't nothing. I just added an addendum to that comment. Is that nothing I produce or make will ever be behind a paywall. It will all make its way out to all of you who cannot afford it, or just don't want to. You know, I don't hold any grudges. It will all. My argument is that too much of our history is hidden behind paywalls. So I pay those subscriptions and get that information and share it with you. It just means you'll get it a little bit slower, but I promise it will all make its way out to you eventually. But the dream still lives on, that we will be able to walk around these clan lands together someday soon. So, right, that's the end of me putting the old cap out. Right. Hang on. What am I missing over on YouTube? I think Britain, our corps of drums, use drums, flutes, are graded lowest to highest. I don't know what I've missed there, Fionn. All I remember is I went to the tattoo in Edinburgh, and obviously I was there to support the Royal Irish, but the Norwegian volunteers, they're conscripts. The Norwegians are conscripted, and they are by far the best. Drill amazing, and considering they're conscripts as well, and they only do 2 years in the military, they put even the British Army's guards to shame. It was amazing to watch. So yeah, that's my sort of talk, what they're talking about. Yeah, the Norwegian band was impressive, and I think what made it more impressive, the fact that they were so synchronized, was just the fact that they're conscripts too. So they're not even like, it's not even they chose to be there. But hang on, Enchant and Delight, thank you very much for the subscription to the Darfina group. I hope to see you on the live. I will be releasing the live date, membership only live, at the end of the month, where we will. Yes, I will answer that for you in 1 second, Enchant and Delight. But I will. Well, we're talking about the McDonoughs and the Breslins. So I hope to see you there. Okay, McNamara, a Clare family. They've got links to the O'Briens, and were hereditary. I believe they were. I do have it written down actually. Not them. Where is it? I do have this. I have for this because I'm doing a video on them. They were marshals. That's right. They were marshals, hereditary marshals of the O'Briens. So, and I do have a short video coming out about them in the near future when I get a haircut. Actually, I'm sorry, that's what's stopping me from releasing any videos at the minute. I haven't had a haircut and I look homeless. So yeah, from Claire. So look for that. But I hope to see you on the lives anyway. I probably more than likely will be doing the McNamara on the membership live before I release it. But let me see. Get to do what time Tuesday? What am I missing? What am I missing? I saw what time Tuesday. If that's to do with the live on Tuesday, it's 10 till 12. You've got an extra half an hour out of me because I didn't do a live yesterday. Sarah Hitchens, thank you very much for the first gift. With 29 subscriptions from our goal of 50. Wow. Johnson's an interesting one because Johnson's, they have links. So there's there's the Johnsons built. They came across with the plantations, and they owned a castle in Kirkeston up here near a place called Portavogie and Cloughey, and they owned a house down here. What's it called? It's in Crossgar anyway, and apparently William of Orange stayed the night in it. So that's them. But also the O'Neills, branch of the O'Neills, when they were sent to Connacht, they changed the name to Johnson too. So there's that. So I hope that was O'Sullivan's. Michael O'Sullivan. I've got to start with this because I got told off for not starting with this. But there is a video of the O'Sullivans on my YouTube, full video. So anyone requesting O'Sullivans is banned. Not literally. You are more than welcome to stay. But I'm not answering O'Sullivans. I'm not answering Butlers, O'Doherty's, O'Brien's, because you all have full videos on YouTube. Well happy I found it. Thanks, Sparks. And I'm well happy you're here. Even if I have to choke to death to say that. Shelby Marshall, thank you very much for the rose. I really do appreciate that. Let's have a look. I don't know what I'm missing on YouTube. They're having a full-blown conversation over there without me. And I'm the star here. Where's my champagne? No. Let me see here. Let's go back to TikTok, where you guys listen to me. Or you don't. You just shout at me. You want your surname. I feel like I'm being used, right? Can you do the O'Haras and O'Hara? Oh yes, so the O'Haras are found in this area, in Sligo primarily. Lords of a place called Leany. But yeah, they're primarily found in this neck of the woods here. Wow, O'Hara. Willow, thank you for your subscription to the Durfina. I hope to see you. Hang on, and is that you commenting there? It is. I will answer you. Just let me do my plug-in whenever you subscribe. We do membership only once a month, membership only lives, and I hope to see you at the next one. The release date for that will be at the end of this month. It's normally on the Monday closest to the 17th. But yes, where you can ask questions, have one-on-ones, where I give you a bit more information, and I put you to the top of the queues for requests as well. So, like this one, O'Rourke's. So the O'Rourke's, we did cover them briefly before, but the O'Rourke's are from Breffni. They're from West Breffni. They're related to the O'Reillys, and they claim descent from the E. Bruin Breffna, who, but as I've stated before, Dr. Paul MacArthur disputes that link, but I'm waiting for him to release a paper on this so that I can find out who they really are related to. But famously, another line in Cork who are related to this Breffna group are they became hereditary beekeepers for I believe the MacCarthys, probably from a rivalry where a prince was expelled from the kingdom, maybe a rival. And he was became a benefactor of a hereditary position, as suited his title as an O'Rourke. But yeah, Breffni around Cavan, the County Cavan. If you ever look at the map of County Cavan, they owned half of it. So I hope that gives you an insight. But I will do more soon. So wow, we're 31 of our goal of 50 subs. So I really do appreciate that, guys. That's Murphy. Right, I did the Murphys at the very start of this video. You missed it. 2.5 hours ago, you missed it. Well, 2 hours and 19 minutes ago. You weren't there, man. You weren't there. Multiple branches. Leinster, Ulster. None of them Viking. From Muirchalla. So that's them. Hang on, where am I? I just seen Stephen says please. Please, what? Hang on, let me scroll up. It's too fast, it's scrolling too fast. Let me see, let me move I just seen please. And I don't know why. What was his name again? Stephen. Oh, Shannon's. Yeah, Dalcash, Clare family. Related to, so links to like the likes of the O'Briens, the Kennedys, the McNamara's. Yeah, they're down this neck of the woods here. So would have probably fought at the Battle of Clontarf, but their Epinus ancestor would have probably fought at the Battle of Clontarf with Brian Boru. So yeah, they're found in that area. Heavy D, thanks very much for the rose. Sarah Hitchens, did I already thank you? If I did not, Sarah Hitch. Thanks very much for the first gift. I appreciate that. Griffin from Kerry. I only know of the Griffins. Are they from there? There's a place called Ballygriffin in Clare. I only know of that line. The other line I think is Welsh or comes from England or Wales. So Kerry was heavily populated during the plantations, so they could be Welsh or English. But if you're from Clare, you're probably Irish, like or from an Irish family, right? Hang on, I've missed loads on King Billy mentioned. Yeah, I've got nothing wrong. You know, I'm not nothing good or bad to say about him. He's long dead. Yeah, so I actually, where did I go? I went to a place in Fermanagh. There was a house, and there was two in Clancolly, an area called Clancolly, and there's two trunks in the lobby, and they are trunks that William of Orange had part of his caravan for his clothes and stuff. So you can actually go and touch something that King Billy touched. You know, I don't know if you're meant to touch it. I touched it. I leant on it. Just do a McCauley for me. Is that a video? I will. I owe you. But I need a haircut. We wait, chomping at the bit. We wait patiently. Good on. Oh, actually, Wayne, you don't know. Next week's topic. So next Tuesday, we're going to be doing the Owen Octa. So, you know, that'll be Tuesdays. So, something to look forward to. The rise of the Owen Octa. But first, have a live on Saturday. Oh, for those of you that as well follow Irish medieval history, have a live on Saturday about the Southern Neil. So if you are a Coleman or any of the families that sort of descend from the Southern Neil, Meath area, there's the rise of the Southern Neil, Flan Shinner against the Northern Neil for the High Kingship of Tara. So it'd be a good live on Tuesday, Irish medieval history. So there's that. There is that to look forward to. I know you're all buzzing. Yeah, no worries. Win, yeah. Well, okay, hang on. Ooh, whoa. Hey, Keelich Cross, welcome in again. It's great to see you. Sissy Turner, thanks very much for the heart me. Sweeney, no, you don't get one, Sweeney. Colleen, you don't get one. You get your band. All Sweeneys, Sullivans, Butlers. Who else? Who else is banned tonight? You're all banned because I have full videos on YouTube. Full videos with everything that you could ever want to know. And more. But you have to watch them. And then you can come here and you can ask any question you like. Because you will be in the know. And you will know more than you know, than I know. Do you know? Right, I'm gonna have to. All right, do one more name, and I've seen one. He's mentioned a couple of times, and I think it's only fair that I sort of say it was it was what I thought it was. Yeah, it was Tyrell. Tyrell is from Game of Thrones. No, but it's also it's also an Anglo-Norman name from Meath. They owned a bit of land on the just on the edge of the Pale. Um, so yeah, they're and I believe they sided on the Irish side once or twice as well. So it's in a couple of wars. So they're um, hang on, bands keep ticking up. I know, Cat. I know. Right, so that we have to leave it there. We have to. Armstrong is Scottish surname. I will do Scottish. No, you're very welcome, Sissy. Thank you very much for the gifts. Thank you very much for the interaction. Um, you know, I think if I do 2 minute right, I'll do this one last one because it they've gifted, and but that is it, no more. Right, this is the very last one. Cully is from the O'Collas, and they're primarily found in Armagh. I think there is a it's also like a variation of McCulloch. So it's like the Hound or something, but and I think they claim descent in Armagh. They claim descent from the three colours. I'm not too sure on that, but yeah, you're looking Armagh, or this area here, and a few in Clare, but mostly Armagh. But that is it. No more. We got no more names tonight. We're done. Gracie, you've gifted, but I can't do anymore. I can't do anymore. If I keep opening up to everyone who gifts, then I'm hiding behind a paywall. The one thing I said I'm not doing, and I can't be. I feel like I'm being like, what is it? Strong armed into this? No, not blackmail. That's a bit harsh. That's that's a bit. But excuse me. But I can't be keep going while people gift. You make me feel guilty. Okay, last one, very last one. So the Flanagans are they're I believe they're from the Efia Great A. So they're found in Connacht. But that is it. That is it. That's all you're getting though. Till next time. Right, I'm gonna have to love you leave. 2.5 hours you just managed to keep me here. Oh nice, I'm from Belfast. Oh, how you doing? I work in Belfast. I'm not far from you. But let me go. Can't hold me hostage here any longer. No, thank you, Willow. Thank you very much for the subscription, guys. All of you that subscribed tonight, thank you very much. My favourite part of history is anything between the 5th and the 17th century. Thank you, Enchant and Delight, for your subscription too. Kelly Cross, thanks very much for coming in. So it's great to see you, all your regulars. It's great to see you all. I'll see you on Tuesday when we'll talk about the Rising of Nocta. So if you have family from Munster, get ready for some exciting times. Slán. Right, and you on YouTube as well. Let me come across here and see if I missed anything before I leave. Yes, no, just all saying thank you, and that's what Slán go Fulberin. Thanks very much for the membership prize there. I really do appreciate that. And it's great to see you all, my little YouTube family, my familams, and I'll see you all on Tuesday. No, I'll see more. I'll probably see a lot of you on Saturday on Philip's Irish Medieval channel. They keep you on all night. Do you know what? Do you know what I tell you? Do you know what it feels like? Do you know when you open the door for someone and then like loads of people arrive and you just feel stuck there because you don't want to close the door on the first person? That's what that feels like talking to TikTok. I'm going live now. There you go, everyone. And I will probably jump across to Irish Medieval's channel anyway as well. Fion's going to be there. I know he's going to be there. So jump across to Irish Medieval History, and I'll see you all in the chat there. But I'm not working, so stop. Don't ask me questions. I'm just there as a civilian. Right. I'm going to love it and leave you. So have a good night, guys. Slán.